So today we're going to talk about the topic custom SQL in the Amazon QuickSight. And this session will be a 30-minute session. So this is a bit shorter than the other learning series. And myself is Roy Yong. I am the QuickSight Specialist Solutions Architect. And we also have Andrew, who is a QuickSight Specialist Solutions Architect, who will be the moderator supporting the Q&A for this session. Before we kickstart, would like to introduce to you the QuickSight community. So this is a public forum for you to ask questions. So there will be a Q&A session, and we also have many QuickSight learning resources in there. I will show you a demo later on. So in today's session, while I am presenting, if you have any question, then we need to leverage this QuickSight community. When you raise questions in the QuickSight community, you need to put a tag. So the tagging will be QLS-SQL. So let me quickly show you a demo of this session, of this community. So you see this is the QuickSight community. So when you go to the QuickSight community, we have different resources. So you see we have the Q&A session, we have the Learning Center. When you go to the Learning Center, you see there are different resources for you to learn the QuickSight, like how to build the dashboard, how to do the embedding. And we also have a Demo Central. When you go to the Demo Central, you can see different demo dashboard, and you can also see the workshop in there, quite a lot of learning resources in there. And today, if you while I'm presenting, if you want to raise a question, you can go to the Q&A, you can go to the question and answer session, then click the new question. And then when you raise question, you can type in your question. Then remember to add the tag. So the tag will be QLS-SQL. Then raise question in here. And our moderator, Andrew, will be supporting your Q&A in this community. So this is the QuickSight community. So one good thing I want to share with you is our QuickSight community's first year, 1 year old birthday. We would like to know what you love and what you would like to see in the community. So the good news is as a special birthday promotion, if you join the community and post what you love and what you like to see today, you will have a chance to get a AWS Swagger. So even if you have signed up before, but you can still post what you like and what you like to see and what you love in the QuickSight community. You can also have a chance to get the AWS Swagger. So you see some of our customer they already get the AWS Swagger in here. So yeah, we really highly recommend you to post your comment in here. And when we run the session, the first question most people usually ask is, will this session will be recorded? And the answer is yes. We will have this session posted in our YouTube channel and also in our QuickSight community by the end of this week. Okay, so let's jump to today's session, the custom SQL. So in this session, what will you learn? The first thing is the benefits of custom SQL in QuickSight. And the next thing is how can you use a custom SQL to retrieve data? Okay, so what's the benefits of running SQL in QuickSight? Why we need to run SQL in QuickSight? And so one commonly asked question when we talk to the customer is they were asking whether QuickSight can support SQL. So most of them, they are the developer. So the reason behind is the first thing is they want to handle part of the ETL task. So like normally, they will have a data warehouse to handle the data transformation. However, they may still want their BI tools to handle part of the data transformation. And some of the customer, if they don't have a huge data volume, they may even don't have a data warehouse. They may connect to their transactional database and retrieve data from there. So they will treat QuickSight like part of their ETL tools. So that's why they want to use the SQL. Another reason and benefits for running SQL in QuickSight is many developers, they're very familiar with SQL. It is easy to use, so they want to stick to the same programming language. And the last reason is most of the or some of the legacy BI reporting tools, they are running on SQL. So when you build the reports in those tools, you need to write SQL. So when when you want to migrate your existing BI tools to QuickSight, then you may just copy those SQL and migrate to QuickSight so that will be easier, and have you can have a higher efficiency, less effort to migrate from existing BI tools to QuickSight. So that's the key benefits for running SQL in QuickSight. So let me quickly jump through the demo. So you see this is the QuickSight console. When I go in here, I can see the dashboard analyst dataset. So now I'm going to the dataset. When you go to the dataset, so this is my existing dataset. If you want to create a new one, just click the new dataset button. When you click the new dataset, you see this are the dataset can be supported in data source that can be supported in QuickSight. So when we talk about data source, one of the very handy one is say if you have a text file, CSV file, JSON file, Excel file, you can upload in a QuickSight directly and build a dashboard. And we do support other third-party application like Salesforce, like say Twitter, ServiceNow, Jira, and we also support some common data warehouse like Snowflake, Databricks, Redshift. Of course, we support the AWS S3 storage and other RDBMS such as RDS by SQL, Oracle SQL Server, MariaDB. So you see most of the RDBMS we are able to support. We also support F3 as well. So you see these are the data source supported. So in this demo, uh, I will show you by using a RDS set up in my environment. So if I scroll down, I can see my previous data source. So I take this RDS as my data source. If I go to my data source, so this is my connection information. When I try to connect to there, then if I can put my username, password. So now I'm trying to connect to my data source. So before I show you the custom SQL demo, I would like to show you, say, if I'm not using SQL, then how can I connect to the data source? So you see this is the list of the tables in my RDS database. I can choose which table I want to use. Say I choose sales, then I click the edit button. Then I will be redirected to this data preparation script. When I go to this data preparation script, so you see the data fields for this table, for the table I just picked up, it's all available in here. So for the data fields, you may do some editing, you may do some handy transformation in here. Say for example, if some technical column, if I just want to hide from the dashboard, I don't want to visible to the users, I can click this button Then I can exclude this field. So you see when you exclude the field, they will be putting in the bottom of the screen. When you build the dashboard, when the users, when they see the dashboard, they will not see this column. And the other thing I can do is I can change the data type. So you see I can change from decimal to integer. You see in the bottom of the screen, we have a data preview. I just changed this sales data column from decimal to integer. So I can change that in here. And you can also apply a filter. So in this case, you see if I go to the preview, if I go to the bottom of the screen, you see I have different products. I have product A, I have product B, I have product C, I have product D, I have product A, B, C, D. So, but in some of the case, maybe you want to filter out some of the data. You just want to filter out, for example, like I just want to see product A or product B. So what you can do is on the left-hand side, you can click on the filters. Then you can choose the product. And then you can apply a filter. For example, like I just want to see product A and product B. I apply. Then, oops, sorry. Then you see now the data is only showing product A and product B's data. If I scroll down in the bottom of the screen, you can see there are two query mode. We have the spice, we have the direct query. So the difference is if you are using direct query, which means every time when the users when they go to the dashboard, QuickSight will collect the data. We run the SQL, retrieve the data from your data source directly. So you see the benefit is the data is really real time. But the downside is the dashboard performance will be highly depends on how fast is your data source. Say if you have a big query, if the query needs to run for maybe several minutes, which then in this case the users they may need to wait for several minutes to see the dashboard. So this is the pros and cons for using the direct query. So that's why we provide another query mode, Spice. So if you have a huge data volume, we highly recommend you using Spice. So by using Spice, your data will be cached in the QuickSight in this Spice data storage. So Spice is a data storage designed specifically for the QuickSight dashboard. So the performance is super fast. Say if you have a million of records, then the dashboard can still be able to show within several seconds. So in this case, when the users, when they go to the dashboard, they don't need to wait for a long time, and even they change the filter. So even they change the filter, they use it as an interactive dashboard, the data can still be refreshed immediately within several seconds. So, uh, so this is the benefit. But by using Spice, you need to set a refresh schedule. So you see the data is not totally real time, but the refresh schedule can be done to 15 minutes. So the data is still quite new, but of course not as new as direct query. But you see the benefit is the user experience for using the dashboard should be much faster if you're using Spice. And if I move on, to this middle of the screen, so you see this is my table, and I can add another table. I can add another table joining in here. Say in this case, I can join data from other data source. I can join from another database like S3, RDS. So in this case, if I choose the same data source, same database, I can choose another table. Like this time I choose a product table. So you see, I can do a joining. I can choose which column I want to do a joining. So in this case, I'm joining by product. And if you want, you may also add another data field for joining between these two tables. So you can join with a multiple table as well. And you can see the join tab. We have a left join, inner join, right join, full join. And you can click the apply button. Then you can save and publish this data source. So you see the data preview is refreshed. And now I'm adding some more data field from the product dimension table. If you don't want, then you can remove that and save again. And you see there's a button in here. You can see the publish history. So you see every time when you save this data source, it will save as a version in here. So I have version 1, version 2, version 3. So now I'm in version 3. If you want, then you can preview the first version. This is my first version. I can revert back to this version. And QuickSight is asking me whether I want to really publish this version. Because if you are updating this dataset, all the related analysts or the related dashboard will be affected. So just ask me to confirm. So that's why I'm not going to confirm. So just now I show you like the drag and drop user interface by using the QuickSight data management script. So you may have a question. So it looks like it's quite handy, right? So in what scenario we should use the custom SQL? So let me quickly show you one example. So if you see in the screen, so you see in this case, I have this a little bit complex, not too complex, but a little bit complex SQL joining. So in this example, I'm going to show, I'm using the same table I just showed you. I want to collect the data from this sales table. I want to group the product sales. Say, then I put a case when condition in the SQL. So if the sales is below 400, I want to show as a low sales. If it is higher than 500, I want to show as high sales. And so by applying this SQL, then I can categorize the cells. So, but this condition may be not easy if I do the drag and drop in the data management script I showed you before. So that's why we bring in the SQL in QuickSight. So now I'm going to show you a demo. Now I'm going to create a new dataset. I use the same data source. So when I create the dataset, you see there's a button, Use Custom SQL. I can click on there. When I click in here, I can key in my SQL directly in here. Then I can confirm my query, or you may do a preview first. You can edit and preview. So you see on the left hand side, we have a feature we call the Schema Explorer. You can see all the tables in this data source. Say I choose sales, then I can see the columns in here. So same as the previous script, you can apply the filter. You can apply the filter. And if I do this run this SQL, I just type in the SQL and click apply. And you can see the preview script in here. And you may also run a more complex SQL in here. Say like the previous one, I just copy and paste the previous SQL, the case SQL in here. Then click apply. So you see I've categorized the sales. If the sales is below 400, put as low, more than 500, put as high. So by using this as custom SQL, I can do more complex joining, like what you can do in the SQL. So this SQL scheme, this SQL editor scheme use script, you can see we have some kind of SQL supported features like autocomplete. like auto complete, yes. And again, you see, we also have the publish history. So same as the previous one, we have the publish history. And so you see basically very similar to the previous one that we have, but we support SQL. So one thing I want to share with you is for this custom SQL, basically it support all the RDBMS data source. So including the Athena, if you have your data stored in S3, if you are running Athena, then it can be you can run your SQL in here. So like I take this example, if I create a data set, so I'm using a Athena, then I can choose the database from the Athena data catalog. I choose this table. So same as our other RDBMS, I can also run the SQL in here. So except Athena, like our others, RDS, Redshift, Bicycle, so all this RDBMS, we can support the custom SQL. So let me move back to the slide. I want to do a use case sharing for the custom SQL. Uh, so the background is I thought to run the customer. It is a real life actual use case. So the customer is from the fashion industry. They have a high product turnover. You can imagine the fashion industry. Say every year they have many new product launch, and they have quite a lot of product which is not showing anymore. So they have a huge volume for the product number, and they have different users. Some of the users they manage part of this product. For example, maybe I manage part of the product category A, and some others they manage the product category B. And the users, each of them, they only want to view their own product sales. So, but the problem is that they don't want to uh, use the filter in QuickSight manually. So let me quickly show you in the screen. So you see in this screen, say if I have quite a lot of product, normally the users will go to this filter and choose which product they want. But the use case I just mentioned is like they have a very long list of products. The users, they have a very different list. They have a very different product list. They don't want to filter one by themselves. So the customer from the IT team, they are using their existing solution to provide a web user interface for the users to upload the Excel file. They want the users to maintain their own product list in the Excel file, and the users, when they want to filter out the list from the report, they will upload the Excel file to the database. Then the report will be running. We only show the product. Depends on the product list the users input and upload in the Excel file. So this is an interesting use case. So you see the challenge is we need to provide a flexibility for the user to upload the Excel file, and the product filter needs to be real-time integrating with the data source and show immediately in the dashboard. So this is the reference architecture that we were using to handle the previous user requirement. And so you see in this case, we are using the Redshift as a data source, and we're using QuickSight. You see there's an upload button from the user perspective. They have a web application. The users can upload the Excel file through the API gateway to S3. So you see we have the data source in the Redshift. We have the product filter from the Excel file in the S3 storage. And we are using the Athena. We are using the Athena to join data between these two different data sources. And then we are using the custom SQL to run a query immediately to join between Redshift and S3. So you see by using the custom SQL, integrating with the Athena federated query, we can join data from two different data sources. Then we can apply a filter to show in the QuickSight dashboard immediately. So one interesting use case, and let me show you a quick demo. So you see in this dataset, I'm using a feeder federated query as my data source. If I go to edit my SQL, then you see my data source. I have so one of my data source is the feeder. A feeder is the group data catalog. Sorry, the group data catalog. So I have the data from the S3. So my table name is a vehicle from the AWS data catalog. I apply the date filter or the product filter in here. And then the other data source I have is the MySQL RDS database. So you see in this case, I'm joining between my RDS and my data from the S3. I'm using the Athena federated query. So because this session is focusing on the custom SQL, and we will have the Athena federated query talking about in the next session. So yeah, I will not talk too much about the federated query, but uh, highly recommend you to join the next session about the Athena federated query. And before we uh before we end the session, would like to share with you that we have the reference in here. We will share with you after the meeting. We have some AWS custom SQL document. We have a blog post showing you how to use a feeder and QuickSight to show a multi-language dashboard. Say you may want to allow the users to change the language in their dashboard by themselves. So this blog post will show you the solution. And we have some other public reference like the QuickSight community, what's new features, demo environment, and the pricing. And yeah, appreciate if you can share the feedback. So let me put the URL in the chat room. So I've just put the survey URL in the chat room. And I also want to share with you the QuickSight community birthday event. So yeah, I appreciate if you can put some comment what you want to see and what you love in the QuickSight community, so you can have a chance to get the AWS swag as well. So hope you enjoy this session. If you have any question, then feel free to put your question in the QuickSight community. And yeah, thanks for your time. Thanks for joining. Want to bye.